Hey, good morning, guys and gals. Listen, I've been getting a lot of emails, a lot of people posting up in the X32 Rack user group community on Facebook. I'm getting comments left on my YouTube channel. Everybody's having a problem connecting these SD8s and SD16 stage boxes. Now, there's a lot of confusion with this, but I'm going to show you the difference between an amateur and a pro. For those of you that may not know, a pro simply takes the time to stop and seek advice from somebody that has more knowledge than they do. And that's the case here. Now, in theory, I can route the SD16s and the SD8s, but in practical exercise, I don't have these boxes. So I've lined myself up with some individuals that do have these boxes, and they have been gracious enough to do some videos for me. And we're going to put this stuff together and make this very easy, because when you do a search for this, there's very little information out there on the internet. So the one thing that I do want to point out is right here. Okay. When chaining multiple SD8s or SD16 units, the signals from the second stage box in the chain are sent via AES50A to the next stage box's AES50 port B. The signal from the second stage box are shifted up by 8 or 16 channels when merged with the first stage box. See chart for details, and this is the chart they're talking about over here. The output selector switch would typically be set to 9 through 16 position to allow different signals to be sent from the two stage boxes. Now, if you're running a single SD16 or an SD8, your selector switch right here is going to be set to the 1 through 8. It's just like the S16 with us. For what I use, I have an actual menu. I have a config button and a rotator knob. And I put mine on the S16 to the +8. Okay? So at this time, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Barney Weston, very skilled individual, across the pond from where we're at, and we'll see what he has to say about it. All right? Let's check him out.
Hello folks, my name is Barney Weston. I am a musician and sound engineer based in the UK. Dana and I have been corresponding about the difficulty I think some people have with the auxiliary output selectors when you're using a S16, SD8 or SD16. I'm in the unusual and unnecessarily complicated situation of actually having all three, as you can see here. So what I've got here is I've got my X32 core. That is connected via the AES50A first to my S16, which you can see in the middle, and that's going from the A port to the A port. The B port of my S16 is connected to my SD16's A port. So you can see the appropriate lamps are on all of that. And what that basically gives me is all of my 32 inputs coming on AES50A. Now the SD8 we're not going to use today, but I have that configured on my auxiliary in and out. So it gives me everything I need in the right place in the rack. So I have a clear scene here. I'm going to show you my routing or routing. So inputs, AES50A, straight input all the way through like that, patch straight through. On my outputs, I've got the standard block outputs. So outputs 1 to 8 and 9 through 16 are on AES50 1 through 8, 9 through 16. That's repeated on 17 through 24 and 25 through 32. And then the Ultranet is on 33 to 40 and on 41 to 48. That is the standard configuration of the output, and I've never gone in and had to change that. XLRs, I don't have any because I haven't got the anything other than the X32 core, which has no outputs. And I've got my mix bus output straight patched across so you can see what's happening. This is a vaguely blank scene that I'm trying to use here. So what I can show you is I am going to start up on the recorder here. Let's have a bit of the cure because everybody likes the cure. And that is coming in on here. And hopefully we will soon start to hear that come through the headphones. If I turn that up. So you can hear that coming through on the headphones. I haven't got any speakers plugged in at the moment, so that's why it's all going to sound a little bit ropey. Now what I have plugged into my auxiliary one here, I'm just going to mute the main LR so it doesn't confuse anything. I have a Sonic sound bullet, one of these, which I highly recommend getting. Sonic, if you would like to send me another one, I'd be very grateful. And this plugs straight into an output, and it has a little amplifier and a speaker in it. And if I turn it on, if I can find the switch, there it is. That is now giving me the output on mix bus 1. So I'm going to go sends on faders. I'm going to send that up. That is coming through onto mix bus 1. I'm going to flip my mutes, and you can hear that now coming out on mix bus 1, which is great. Now on the side of my SD16, at the moment I have my channel setting outputs on 1 through 8. So you remember that on my main routing I've got 1 to 8 on AS50, 1 through 8, and 9 through 16. So they should be showing 9 through 16. But because I've got it set on 1 through 8, if I now plug this in here, I'm going to hear output 1. If I flip the switch into the middle, if I can find the switch, it's going to go because I've now set it to 9 through 16. And if I go into mix bus 9, you'll see there's a signal on there. I'm going to push that up. I'm going to flip my mute there. And it's now coming out through auxiliary 9. And just to show that, I'm going to mute 1. So if I flip this back again, that is now going on to 1. The signal there has disappeared. So I can mute bus 9, put bus 1 back on, and it's now coming out again. So basically that switch on the side overrides whatever you've got in your routing, and it forces the stage box to take whatever output configuration you've set. So I'm going to put this back into the middle position, which is 9 through 16, because otherwise I'll forget to do it when I next need to use this. And I'm going to plug this into here, back into output 1. So on bus 1, you can see I can mute and unmute bus 1. Now you can also do that on the, sorry, I'll just take that down again. You can do that on the S16 as well. If you push and hold config and turn the wheel, I'm now setting my outputs. You can see here it says +8. So I've set the outputs here to 9 to 16. So there's nothing coming out of 1. If I go to 9, that's 9, and unmute it, we've now got that coming out of 9. And you can see the indicator here saying +8 to warn me of that. So I'm going to put that back again. Otherwise, again, I'll forget to do that. And I'm going to pull mix bus 1 back up again. And there it is, out on mix bus 1. So you can see that even if your routing is set in a certain way, you can override it with the configuration on the stage box itself, which can lead you into a whole world of pain. So what I've done on my SD8 is I've got it set at, I think, 1 through 8, and I've just left it in the rack like that because it's too awkward to get to, and changed that over. I hope that helps. If you have any questions, you can find me on the X32 Rack users group, which is a fantastic forum on Facebook. And if you want me to do anything else or have a look at anything else, you've got any questions, let me know. The Sound Bullet is a great tool. So I've shown you the speaker it has. It also has a pink noise or a tone generator, and I can put that in on an input. So for my line check, suddenly everything gets a whole load easier, because I should, if I configure this channel properly, be able to pull that up, because it's got a speaker, or you can send it through the XLR. So I use this device for line checking. I can just plug it into an input, and it puts me through a constant tone, so I can do all my line checking any way that I want. No drama at all. Thanks, folks. So it's Barney Weston. I am on the X32 rack group on Facebook. If you've got any questions, let me know. Thanks. Bye.